Everything I talk about in my videos is my opinion only, so sit back, relax, grab yourself a cuppa or a drink of your choice and enjoy. In this video I am discussing topics of child online abuse and also child suicide, so if this is triggering for anyone, please feel free to scroll on. Hi guys, it's me, Lucie Spills. So I'm here to talk about the Parents Network and that car crash of an interview with CBS. But firstly, I wanted to say how nice it was to see the Prince and Princess of Wales cheering on Team GB from home. It was so short and sweet, but just so lovely to see both of them. See, here's the thing. We've had podcasts, we've had acting agencies, so Meggie Poo's wanting to get back into acting, I presume, and we've heard nothing about when new content will be dropped on Laminada. All we've had is all the old content for archetypes from Spotify. So, and also we've had no dates on these Netflix documentaries. So, and the other stuff that on Archewell that have been a flop also. I can also see this Parents Network being a complete flop, especially after looking into it. So straight off the back, we have Jane Pauley saying they're big huggers as Meggie Poo's goes up to everyone, pushing her breasts against them, bear hugging them. I mean, a peck on the cheek, a handshake, it's just fine, Meggie Poo's. You do not have to do that. And it's not an American thing. It really isn't. I would feel completely violated if someone did that to me if I barely knew them. And yes, House follows suit and starts hugging everyone also. He never used to do that. A handshake was normally fine with him. Now he's all hugging everyone. But okay, so straight away it's about them. They're big huggers. Oh, I forgot to say I'm sorry about the different setup. It's just not, I'm a bit of an off day today and it's much comfier here. So I'm really sorry about that. But anyway, moving on. So they haven't given any dates for any of these. There's many things on Archewell's that have just flopped. And I get, like I said, I can see this being another one. So bear in mind, so I watch Michelle, Royal Daily Tea. And I'm going to link the video below also. She did a very, very juicy video and I'm going to link it for you. But bear in mind, as she says in it, that in Hollywood, you have your PR teams. So your two teams, you can go back and forth over a few years even. Probably a few years with them too, with all the demands they want. And so yeah, so they'll have questions all set out and stuff like that. And Meggie Poo's will have, yes, I want this, that, lighting. You can just imagine all the demands that she wants. So yeah, both camps will speak and they'll arrange a date to do the actual interview. Then after Jane says they're big huggers, she says, Meghan is no stranger to online bullying. And then says, neither is Harry, or unspeakable grief. Unspeakable grief? We haven't stopped hearing about his grief for the last 4 years. I mean, we all feel terrible for what he went through. As I've said in a previous video, many other children go through that also. So what is this unspeakable grief? I don't understand that at all. Yes, no mention of any of the parents yet. No mention of any of their grief or anything like that. We've just gone straight into Haz and Meggie Poo's victim narrative once again, when it was supposed to be about the parents. But we didn't see any of that. All we saw was just Meggie Poo's and Haz hugging them. Oh, it's so great to see you. Oh, lovely to see you. Oh, all this fakeness that she does. You know, that's all we saw. And then they sit down for their interview. I'm sorry, my hay fever's terrible also. It's just not a good day. So yeah, and then they sit down for the interview. So this is their first interview since their Oprah interview. And if you look at the body language from the Oprah interview to this one, it's way off, especially with Haz. He looks like drained almost, like really drained. And he's kind of, the seats are sat like quite far apart for them two with their false PDA we've had in the past. And yeah, it's just really off. He's kind of sat sort of a little bit away, turned away from her slightly. Well, I saw that. I don't know if anyone else did. And she's just straight into the camera, as she always is. That's Maggie Poos. So Jane Pauley starts off the interview by saying, the essential topic is loss. Stories that need to be shared so that these parents that haven't suffered loss think they couldn't, but they could. And Haz does come up with a good answer straight away. And I do understand what he's saying. I'm so sorry about my hay fever, guys. I'm sorry. But I do understand what he's saying. He's saying, you know, I grew up in the 90s, so my parents didn't have to worry about this. It was just being established. My daughter's 20. I didn't have to worry about this. So I do get what he's saying. You know, you don't know what your child's doing in the next room, if they're on the phone, if they're 13 years of age, you know. But, you know, there's ways you can police it. And I was hoping that this Parents Network would help in policing that. But I do understand what Haz is saying there. It isn't so word salady that time, if you get my drift. But when Haz was giving that very good answer, the warning shots he was getting from Maggie Poos, wow, if they were grenades, bloody hell. They're mass. I've never seen so many mass slips from her in one interview than I have in this one. The way she was looking at him while he was giving a pretty good answer was just the usual look. How dare you speak? That look. Like, you're in for it later, mister. That kind of look, you know? He would have definitely have been in for it later. Definitely. You know? I can just imagine. I would love to, again, I always say this, I would love to be a fly on the wall after that interview. I really would. Then almost immediately, Maggie Poos starts bragging about her kids while these grieving parents are in the next room. They're amazing. Oh, they're amazing. I mean, I don't know if she's just completely tone deaf and just doesn't read the room, or she does this kind of stuff on purpose. I really don't, because it's just so narcissistic to do that while these grieving parents in the next room. I mean, it's no revelation. We all know she's a narcissist anyway. I mean, we're not qualified to say that, but come on, guys. We all see it, don't we? But yeah, bragging about her children whilst grieving parents are in the next room. That is disgusting. So she's bringing it all back to herself once again. And I don't think Haz liked that very much. Just look at the way he's looking at her during that interview. I don't think he wanted her to do any of that me stuff that she normally does. So then they bring out Donna and Chris Dolly, who lost their 17-year-old son CJ after he bought online. This is so heartbreaking. And the way Maggie Poos is looking at them while they're speaking on their experience. Like Michelle at RDT said, zero compassion. It's the way, almost worse actually, that she looks at Haz every time he speaks, like warning shots. How dare you talk? How dare you take my space? That kind of thing. She did not offer that I saw anyway, any kind of compassion, just the odd nod of the head, but the mass slip was really there, really there. The way she was looking at them was disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. And they're there just talking about a child that they have lost. Now, as Has and Meggie Poos don't have any teenage children, nor have they lost any children to online bullying, the CBS had to find some way of like segueing the two narratives together, if that makes sense. You know, the two experiences. So Jane Pauley does ask Meggie Poos about her experience that she spoke about on Oprah. Remember, the one Piers Morgan didn't believe her about, that he said was a manipulation tactic. I also believe that. He called her a liar for it and left Good Morning Britain, which I completely miss him from. But yeah, I digress, but that's what happened. She asked her the question about what she said on Oprah. And Meggie Poos didn't look best pleased about this, did she? She kind of looked, you know, mass-lit once again. So once Jane had asked that question, Meggie Poos places her hand on Haz's knee. Now Haz doesn't respond in any way, shape or form. I don't even think he looks at her, to be honest. And Jane Pauley says, oh, I can see the love that I thought I would when I asked this question. What love? What love? I know exactly why her hand was there. Because she wasn't expecting that question, she put her hand there in order to give him a little pinch, as they couldn't get their story straight beforehand, could they? Because that was an unexpected question. It wasn't supposed to be asked. But they had to ask something, otherwise none of it would make sense why they're doing it. It doesn't anyway, but she had to ask something to segue it into, you know, some kind of experience with these parents. I'm sorry, that was my dog in the background again. I'm so sorry. You know what she's like, muscling in at time to time. Yeah, so her hand was there to give him a little pinch so he didn't speak, because they couldn't get their stories aligned about that beforehand. Like they didn't really before the Oprah interview. They are dimwits, them two, they really are. But that's why she had her hand there. Not love. She had it there to give it a little pinch in case he spoke, because he couldn't get the story straight beforehand. That's in my very strong opinion. And no, I don't mean in any kind of way that she's like really gonna pinch him. I just mean she'd give him like a nudge. I shouldn't have said pinch, just like a push or a nudge in case he was to say anything, you know. And he did not look best pleased either, where she's going into all her victim narrative. I actually think she quite enjoyed answering that in the end. I don't know, maybe, but she loves talking about herself, doesn't she? But has, on some level, maybe wanted to speak about the parents a little bit more. You know, Meggie Poos, just herself, as usual. The whole thing literally was about her. But when she finished her spiel, we had the subtle threat of, I've only just scratched the surface, I've only just scratched the surface of my experience, and I need to be more open. Oh God, we've got more to come. Oh, what else can they throw at the royal family? Let's see, shall we? Popcorn at the ready, guys. I mean, scratch the surface. She's thrown, they've thrown everything they can at both of their families that they possibly can. They've called them the worst things, racism being one of them. in the world. To be called a racist when you're not is the most horrible thing to be called. And that very contrived endgame Dutch version, do not tell me that didn't come out of Meggie Poo's mouth, that Princess Catherine is a racist. No, she's not. No, she is not. I'm sorry, I'm getting animated here now. Princess Catherine and King Charles are no racists. All I see is both of them being really cruel to King Charles, saying, I can't bring my wife and kids over here because it's far too dangerous, the UK that is. But they can go to Colombia and Nigeria and all that. I digress. But they're completely dangling those children over King Charles like a carrot to get this IPP status, thinking he can intervene when he can't. They must know he can't. He cannot get involved in that. So they need to stop. They just need to stop being so cruel to both families. It is just getting one boring and just making them plummet more and more and more. People are so sick of it. So royal author Angela Levin, who I absolutely adore, she said that Meggie Poo's threw a huge fit after the interview, because of that very question that she was asked. Well, they had to ask something, or else it wouldn't have made any kind of sense whatsoever. But yes, she made a massive fuss, shouting at everyone, screaming at everyone like she does behind closed doors that she doesn't want anyone to see. She made the biggest fuss ever. Angela Levin, who is a royal author over here in the UK, but very, very connected. So yeah, she said that, and she also went on to say, quote, after the interview was over, she was apparently screaming at the producers, very, very annoyed at what they'd asked her. Sorry about my dyslexia, guys. And she continues, you mustn't do that with Meghan, as she's in control. But you could see the anger and fury in her face throughout the interview, as we all could see. And yes, she did throw this huge fuss. So Levin continues, just the same as in and out of the interview, she couldn't stand Harry speaking. Well, we all saw that also. She goes on to say, she would look at him with such harsh eyes and such terrible expression on her face. Yes, something we all saw also. There was also talk about her not wanting to be in the same room together whatsoever, but take that with a pinch of salt. There's just whispers about that. But yeah, apparently there was a huge fuss about that also. This interview was supposed to be an hour long. I think it was around 15 to 20 minutes. Now, we did see a little bit of segment towards the end with the parents. I wanted to see way more of that. We only got the sad story about the 17-year-old child. Yes, you are a child at 17 that bought online. We got that sad story. And then we got a few snippets of others. No, again, has a Meggie Poo show. All over again. That's what we had. That's what it was. The CBS interview, a complete car crash, in my very strong opinion. Oh, guys, I know I sound really gross today. I'm so sorry. It's like a build-up in my esophagus and all that. But anyway, digressing. So I went on to the Parents Network on the Archewell website, and you're greeted with, I can't understand any of this, but I'll quote it. We, the Parents Network, say No more. No more blaming families. Time for change is now, and it's being with us. Use your voice. Join our campaign for our children, for your children, for all children. What? Well, I mean, what does that mean? What does that even mean? I mean, that's just total word salad. I mean, me and my husband were trying to make head and tail of that, and we're just like, okay, that's Maggie Poo's talking right there. Probably has, as he started talking that way also. So, yeah, I delved further into this. Now, when you go onto it, you're greeted with that very quote, if you can make head and tail of it. And you're also given 3 guides. Three parent guides, sorry. One to Snapchat, one to TikTok, one to Instagram. Now, it's almost as if they've copied and pasted some of the terms and conditions from them very platforms and pasted it onto their own. There is nothing on there about that we don't already know to protect our children. Nothing. They are treating these grieving parents or parents that they want to educate like idiots. They really, really are. If you just look at these, and I welcome you to, I really do. If you just look at these, they are really treating people like idiots. So yeah, that's what you first get. A parent's guide to all them 3 platforms, which is very minimal. And then you can, I went a bit further, but when he went to join us, I wasn't going to go any further than that and see where it led me, just because I fortunately haven't lost a child due to online bullying or lost a child at all. So I didn't want to go any further to see where it took me, but apparently I did watch an according to Taz video that said there's a forum that's not being policed, which is very worrying. There was a psychology type woman on there, sorry I forget her name. I think she'll be on there I don't think she'll be on there all the time, if there is a forum. I think she'll be on there time to time. So it sounds like it will just be parents talking amongst themselves. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like the Parents Network is going to be. So there is so many other charities that is better than the Parents Network that can help parents with their children and online bullying, and I'll go into them, and I'll also link them below. So I'm confused about this Parents Network. I really, really am. Why they're doing this? They don't have teenage children. I mean, I know they've got young kids. Maybe they're worried about when they're older, if I'm playing devil's advocate here. But nah, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's something they thought of that it can be lazy about. She could have done, Maggie Poo's could have done something about feminism or something like that. Has could have done something he feels really strongly about, like in Botswana or whatever. You know, well, does he feel strongly about that with all the Africa part stuff? Who knows? But I am really confused about why they're doing this. It makes 0 sense whatsoever. And it's just another narcissistic power play by Maggie Poo's, I believe. I think Has on some level does want to do some good. I do believe that. Her, nope, just wants to keep going, try and keep going up and up and up on this ladder, but can't quite see it's going the reverse. So some really good UK charities for parents and children is we have Childline, we have NSPCC, and we have Kidscape. So that's just to name a few. So I will link them below, and they're great ones, far better than this Parents Network. So please check them out, guys, if you're struggling with children, and anyone who are. It must be awful, because I've never had to experience that. So if anyone is going through that, my heart is with you. It really is. But another thing I'll add, I will take Harry and Meghan. Yes, I won't say Has and Meggie please this time. I will take them seriously when they call out their rabid fan base, that have actually been dubbed one of the worst out there. So can you imagine if a child is a big fan of Princess Catherine and all the bullying Princess Catherine's had that I'm yet to go into? Can you imagine if they're a big fan of them, and the Sussex Squad, when they attack and they attack personally. Doesn't matter how old they are, they'll go in on any child. So when they call them out, I'll take them seriously, because they're doing all this, let's keep our children safe, but not calling out their rabid fan base. So how can we take them seriously? Again, they're showing themselves for what they are, complete hypocrites. Total hypocrites, not calling out their own fan base. And let's go into some of the bullying Princess Catherine's had, shall we? If the Meggie Poos wanted to start off with her bullying on that interview, let's go into Princess Kate's, shall we? All the bullying she's had, faking cancer, being an AI, everything. She's had so much thrown at her, far more than Meggie Poos ever has. So she can just shh about harassment. She ain't getting any, and no one cares if she comes here anymore. I only care for King Charles's sake. That's the only person I care for, and the rest of the family, because those children are missing out on a hell of a lot of good people and good families. But anyway, guys, that's it for me today. Much love.